wasn't actually sure how I wanted to start this. Um, the last thing I wanted to do is put out another podcast because it almost seems like everybody this day and age is doing that to, you know, spread information, get their opinions out and whatnot. And I didn't want to just pollute the air that was already, in a sense, really congested. But the thing is that not everybody reads anymore, and not everybody reads at a high volume. And my posts are uh, longer than most posts that are on the internet. And for the most part, with the YouTube generation and Snapchat, Vine, and all those other really instant gratification platforms that are out there, it's very hard for people to have the attention span these days to actually dedicate their time to read through a post. So I thought, why not write it, or why not record sessions and put them out and allow people to listen to them and hopefully get feedback from them as well to let me know what they like, what they don't like, and whatnot. Now, just to clarify, my brain works like at 1,000, 2,000, and 100,000 times a second. Like it goes and goes and goes, and it doesn't stop. So if you ever notice that I pause for a long time, it's just pretty much to gain my thoughts back, because for the most part, my thoughts on these or recordings are going to be off the cuff. They're not going to be planned. Pretty much I'll just be walking around my living room or bedroom or in my house for the most part, just talking through headphones onto my iPhone. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Now, I do have posts on my site, and if you haven't read them, I encourage you to at least, the first, I think, 4 or 5, which are an introduction to who I am, why I started this, and whatnot. One of the important things that you'll gather from there is, I don't even know if I actually mentioned it in there, so I should go and check it out. But the way that I think is, it's described as holotropic. And what that means is that I don't think in a linear fashion, which means, there's pros and cons to that. The pro to that is that I don't ever get stuck on one idea and need to finish it before I can move on to the next one. However, it also means that I don't really have a lot of finished thoughts until, several months down the line, or a year or two down the line. And I never really have finished projects until, a year later. Now that works for me, but that might not work for you. And if that doesn't work for you, I apologize. And I'll do my best to mark on the website what each of these, I guess, episodes or sessions or whatever they are deal with. Now, to push forward, what I'd really like to do with this is just to get my ideas out. Now, see, in this instance, I am kind of petrified about actually sharing who I am to the world. Now, in writing, it's fine. I don't know why in voice it could be any different, but I think it allows a little bit more intimacy between me and you. And that's a fear of mine, to let people in close and to let them know who I am. And to allow them to accept who I am, because that's a very difficult thing for me to do. I usually like to keep people at an arm's length. I keep my door shut at home. I don't really let people in, and for the most part, my existence on this planet has been me, at least for, I'd say the last 5 years, have been me and my dog, who, if you ever get to meet him, is probably one of the most splendid beasts on this planet. He's so smart, and I don't know, I just love that little animal to death. But, you know, but not sharing who I am. Now, I do kind of share a little bit with people that I'm close with, people that I trust, so like my mom and my friends. And you know what, to be honest with you, not even all of my friends. I keep them at an arm's distance too, because I don't know if they're ready for who I am. Or at least the information that has come in through this vessel, this flesh robot that I have, this, or flesh spacesuit as some call it, I don't necessarily know if they are ready to accept who I am. And in a reflection, because a lot of stuff is a projection that we put onto other people of our thought, like our thoughts are projections, I'm not necessarily sure if I'm ready. But the thing is that I'm 34 years old, turning 35 in a couple of months, and do I really want to be 40 wondering why I didn't start earlier? And so I'm starting now, and I'm starting today, and I'm going to get information out. And it's not going to be the nicest information for people to hear, but at least it's going to get out there. And whether you accept it or not, that's really up to you. It's no longer in my hands. It's in your hands now. If you want to accept the information I present, awesome. If you don't, that's okay too, because everybody, and although I don't necessarily buy into this 100%, there's a New Age belief that everybody's on their own journey, and you know what? That's all well and fine, because for the most part, everyone's on their own journey learning-wise. Like, they're not necessarily ready to listen to all of the information that's out there, to walk around and allow the molecules in the air to correspond with us or connect with us and tell us what's going on, which is possible. We just need to be open to it. A lot of people are also very, very stuck in what they want to believe. And this isn't just religious people or scientists, researchers, archaeologists, normal people, whatever. This goes for a majority of people on this planet that I find, that they are truly stuck in what they want to believe. And it's because, at least I equate this to them allowing it to resonate at such a deep level within them. And one thing we'll notice as we, like human beings on this planet, as we evolve, we'll find that our hearts, once they attach to something, it's very, very hard for them to let go. And it's kind of the same as like an addiction in a way, which is more of a mental state, but it's also a physical state because it becomes a habit and whatnot. But for the heart, if you can imagine everything you touch, everything you deal with, everything you think of, you're creating these silver cords to touch each other and to connect one another. And every time that you think this more and think it more and think it more and believe it to be true and believe it to be true and believe it to be true, and you keep going that way and you keep thinking about these things, the more silver cords get attached and the stronger, and they, intertwine and they wrap around, and they just, it almost as if, it goes from one little string to like a million strings all connected, kind of like a fiber wire that's sending information back and forth to your belief, saying, I believe in you, and your belief sending information back, saying, you believe in me, keep believing in me, because this is the right way. And what is happening with that is we get stuck in these thoughts and in these beliefs. And it's very, very hard because now they become physical to us. And physical is although an illusion, it's so very real to us. Us as in, again, human beings. I don't know anything about animals. I can't connect with them. I don't have that ability. I wish I could, because then I could talk to my dog on a much deeper level and understand his frustrations with me and whatnot, but I don't. But I do kind of understand humans to a point. And I guess this is another thing for what these sessions are going to be about, is for me to communicate my thoughts and ideas on how I view humans and what I think about what I think about how they react to things and whatnot. Case in point, discussing this whole idea about beliefs. and silver cords to them. And it's really hard. It might be hard for you to imagine, but like imagine all around you are words, and you can see these words. And in these words, they might form into paragraphs, but they form into ideas. And then you start to see these ideas. And you're like, oh, I want to connect to that idea, and I want to connect to that idea, and I want to connect to that idea. And from your body, it sends out all of these silver strings. And like I said, over time, you start building up. The more you think of these ideas, and the more they resonate with you, the more they connect to you. Now, imagine if the only way to get yourself better was to break one of these cords, to sever them. And if you think about it, if you've ever been in love, even if it's just like a remote love, like a minuscule, like a minute love with someone, and it didn't last forever, but it lasted enough, and you allowed your heart, in a sense, to connect with their heart, and then that got severed. At least on your end, it got severed. They may have severed it a long time ago, but your connection was still very, very strong. And then it got broken up. You're absolutely, in cases for me, I've been absolutely crushed. Well, the same thing happens with our thoughts and beliefs. And as we grow up and we grow older, and you can believe whatever you want, this just makes sense to me. But as we grow up and hopefully gain wisdom and gain knowledge and whatnot, we start to learn that, especially at younger ages, that it hurts. This disconnect hurts. And so over years, we start to connect to lesser and lesser things. And really, I'm for lack of better words, out of fear, we kind of start holding ideas closer to us and hugging them tight. And although we can share these ideas with other people, because human beings just love to be connected. We need it. It's something that keeps us alive. The moment that we don't really have connection, and some people like me who can't connect at a deep level because it drains us of our energy, kind of like a battery, which I'll get into in subsequent sessions. I can't be out with people too often because my energy gets very, very depleted. But I still want to be connected to people. And I still want to, love other people and whatnot. And I still want to allow my heart to be broken and everything. And what I've learned is I've learned the ability to replicate that with my thoughts and beliefs. So instead of getting stuck on one idea and into one belief and building several strings and building, numerous millions of strings onto several different ideas or whatnot, I've learned how to break those connections without getting hurt too much, without having to stay in fear and go, no, if I lose this, I lose who I am. Because in all honesty, we don't know who we are. I think I have an idea of who we, beings on this planet, and possibly everything that makes up this whole universe. I think I have an idea of who we are and what's behind that speck of light. The speck of light that scientists are looking at to see what's beyond the Big Bang, to see what started the Big Bang. It may be something so much bigger than we're willing to accept right now. And for the most part, that is based, I base that on my thoughts that we're very, very stuck in our beliefs. Something that's really hard for people to wrap their heads around is the idea that it's very possible that religions, including science and New Age, are the equivalency to primary school when it comes to actual spirituality. I know that's a hard concept for people to one, listen to, but to also wrap their heads around and understand. But I guarantee you, the more you allow yourself to step out of your beliefs that you have right now, you gain a greater and much deeper appreciation for what else is out there. And it'll be, to be honest, like to be completely forthright, you'll probably have a much better time with your thoughts. And you might not be, too afraid to stay in one night and just, not meditate on your thoughts, but just allow yourself to think without needing to be around too many people. Now, hold on one second. Just cooking some dinner. That's what I can do because I don't have to sit down at a recording studio and whatnot. I just get to record off my phone. Anyways, like I said, I'm a holotropic thinker, so these are going to go all over the place, but I will do my best to sort of make notes and put them into into the notes on the cast, or not the cast, on my website. And because this is my first attempt at this, there's going to be faults. I'm going to say a lot. I'm going to pause a lot. I'm going to, judge my thoughts a little bit more, but do my best not to, and do my best to keep this as fluid as possible. I also will have to listen to my recordings and see if I'm speaking too fast, because I get excited and I might think too fast, or I may be worried that I might be speaking too slow, and so I'll speed up, and then I might be speaking too fast for some people. And to be honest with you, I can't win with everybody, so I'm really going to just record this to as something that I would like to listen to, and maybe something that I can pass down to my children when I actually eventually have them. And if anybody else likes and enjoys what they're listening to, then amazing. But if they don't, then you know what? All it is 20 to 30 minutes out of my day, if that, and that's minuscule in comparison to what we waste our time on, if you think about it. Going back to beliefs, what I'm going to ask of you when you listen to these sessions or these episodes or eventually whatever I decide to call this thing, when you listen to it, I'm hoping that you listen to it with an open mind. And maybe put your beliefs to the side for a second and go, and instead of going, no, that's not possible, going, okay, what if it is possible? Because that's the way I operate. I operate in possibilities. And right now I'm a little bit stuck because I think I figured out what's beyond the spec, but I can't figure out what's beyond that. And what I'm doing at the moment is figuring out the landscape of the beyond. And I'm not talking about, Mars or Jupiter or Sirius or the Pleiades or any of those that a lot of spiritualists and possibly futurists think about. And I'm not even talking about, actually I'll get into that in later sessions about us becoming machines. But in the end, all I ask of you, my listener, the people that hopefully will follow this, whatever this is, until I quit or whatever, that you just listen to this with an open mind and allow the information to go into you, absorb what you need to at the time, discard everything else as waste, and go about your day after. But as you grow, and I guarantee you, if you listen to what I'm about to say throughout whatever time is available to you and however much time you have left on this planet, if you listen to what I have to say with an open mind, eventually you will grow and grow and grow into an amazing being. I guarantee you will. The reason why most people don't, and this, yes, is an absolute judgment on my end, is because they are stuck in their beliefs, and it's because they're so afraid to cut that cord. So I ask you, only when you're ready, to cut that cord and come down the rabbit hole with me. And as we grow, and hopefully you guys will have the courage and whatnot to contact me, and instead of hurling insults and being trolls and whatnot, to legitimately contact me and say, let's further this discussion. Let's push it further and see what's really out there and what we can really, really, really discover. Because when it all comes down to it, in the end, knowledge and information being passed from one person to the other is the greatest, in the using an example of the monetary system, the greatest currency that we hold today. And the more we hold it within, the more we take from this planet. And that's why I've decided to get over my fears, to get over what people are going to think about me, to allow the world to judge me for what they think of me, and that is okay. Because I feel like the few that I connect with, and as that grows, hopefully it becomes many and whatnot, but at least those few that I totally connect with, hopefully we will build silver cords together that will keep us connected as long as we need to be connected for. I don't know. I don't really know how to end this properly. It's my first time. But I think I've left you with a good enough introduction. Subsequent sessions are going to cover everything from conspiracy theories to spirituality to my thoughts on what's, beyond the rainbow. Really, what's on the other side of all of this. And hopefully, over time, you'll message me on Twitter, which is at IamMKStevens, so IAMMKSTEVENS. And I'm not going to put my email address down here. Let's just, if I don't hear, well, here my email is mkstevens05@gmail.com. Feel free to email me on that too. But other than that, I'm going to go enjoy my dinner, which is basically just some quinoa, carrots, onions, and broccoli. And I hope that you have a wonderful day, night, morning, whenever you listen to this. And hopefully you click play on the next session too, when that is uploaded. And hopefully by episode 40 or 50 or session 40 or 50, I no longer say and maybe I've just made a decision on whether or not these are sessions or these are episodes. I will also over time have guestesses on this. I will not just be me talking in whatever. But other than that, have a great evening, morning, afternoon, midday, whatever. But thank you very much for listening, and I wish you all the best. And look forward to hearing from anyone that ever wants to talk to me. All right. Farewell.